Can a machine really think? This question sounds like science fiction. And yet, it seems to have become a reality long ago. Artificial intelligences write texts, conduct conversations, and compose pieces of music. They analyze medical data and assist in the management of global processes. But is that enough to assume they actually think? Or are the machines just deceiving us with their amazing language abilities? In this video, we will get to the bottom of this and ask ourselves what thinking actually means. What is intelligence actually measured by? And is it really just a trick if AI appears intelligent? We investigate the technical background, consider the topic from a philosophical perspective, and present examples where you must ask yourself, is this already thinking, or just very good guessing? Part 1. Turing Test. The first attempt to make thinking measurable. The idea of testing machines for thinking ability is not new. In 1950, the British mathematician and computer science pioneer Alan Turing proposed the test, which later became known as the Turing Test. The basic idea: if a human can no longer distinguish in a text-based conversation whether their counterpart is a human or a machine, then the machine is intelligent. But even back then, it was criticized that the Turing test measures more how well a machine can imitate us humans and not whether it really thinks. A chatbot can deceive us without ever having a thought. Verbal quick-wittedness is not synonymous with true understanding. Part 2. But what do we actually mean by thinking? Before we can answer the question of whether machines think, we must clarify what thinking actually is. There is no simple definition. The term is deeply rooted in philosophy, psychology, and neuroscience. Is thinking the drawing of logical conclusions? Solving problems? Or does self-reflection, consciousness, and intuition belong to it as well? Can only living beings think, or is intelligence at a functional level sufficient? René Descartes once said, "I think, therefore I am." But what exactly is doing the thinking? A conscious self? Something like a soul? A neural network? Or something entirely different? So part 3. The comparison with humans. Cognition in the natural world. The human brain is a marvel. About 86 billion neurons work in parallel, linking sensory impressions, experiences, emotions, and ideas. We can plan, abstract, form hypotheses, and self-reflect, all in milliseconds. But our thinking is also prone to errors. We are subject to cognitive biases, have blind spots, and remember selectively. But does that automatically mean that machines, which make decisions free from emotions and prejudices, actually think better than we do? Or does this exact lack cause them to miss something that makes our thinking so special? Part 4. What argues for it? Machines demonstrate remarkable abilities. There are many good arguments that AI at least exhibits behavior similar to thinking. And what else comes to mind about the topic of thinking? Have you ever thought about subscribing to this channel? It would really support my work if you did, also if you left a like, for example. Thanks a lot in advance for that. Let's continue. Learning from data. Systems like GPT-4 or Google's Gemini analyze vast amounts of text, recognize patterns, and develop knowledge about language, contexts, and concepts. Problem-solving ability. In games like chess or Go, AI has long surpassed humans through creative, non-human moves. Processing of language. AI can respond to complex questions context-sensitively, understand chat logs, and even imitate humor. Creativity. Artificial intelligence composes music, generates artworks, and writes poems, often at an amazingly high level. If we consider thinking as functional problem-solving, then these achievements are indeed impressive. Part 5. Let's look at what argues against the idea that AI truly thinks. AI does not truly understand anything. Instead, it merely processes. Therefore, the central objection remains that machine intelligence is only simulated. In fact, it does not actually possess it. No consciousness. Artificial intelligence today truly has no notion that it exists. It also has no thoughts about itself whatsoever. Understanding. Not at all. Language models do generate appropriate words, but without knowing their meaning. No experiencing or living. Machines and programs have no emotions, no intuition, and also no needs. No intent. AI does not pursue goals on its own initiative, but only reacts to inputs, thus purely reactive and not proactive. The philosopher John Searle summed it up with the Chinese room. Just because someone correctly combines Chinese characters doesn't mean they understand the language. Part 6. Strong versus weak AI. What do we actually want to build? In research, two basic types of artificial intelligence are distinguished. Weak AI is specialized in specific tasks. It can write texts, analyze images, and play chess, but all of this only within clear boundaries. Strong AI, on the other hand, would be able to react flexibly to new situations like a human, learn independently, set goals, and reflect on itself. Currently, only weak AI exists, and it is already remarkably good. But the path to strong AI is still long. Or is this assumption perhaps ultimately wrong? Part 7. Thought processes in artificial environments, how AI actually works. What happens inside an AI model is different from the human brain. While we humans think with neurons, synapses, and chemical stimuli, AI systems are based on matrices, vectors, and probabilities. Early transformer models like GPT analyze connections in texts using statistical patterns. They do not know what they are doing, but they produce results that seem like knowledge. Each new word is chosen based on probabilities, not meaning, but statistical context. And yet, often the result is so coherent that even experts are amazed. Part 8. Thinking versus processing. Where do we draw the line? Perhaps the problem lies in our thinking about thinking? If we reduce thinking to neural processes, artificial intelligence is not that far removed from it. But if we demand consciousness, experience, and understanding, the machine is left out. Yet, the human brain also relies on electrical impulses. So what differentiates genuine thoughts from purely synthetically generated ones? And if artificial intelligence makes complex, creative, autonomous decisions in the long term, how long can we still say that's not thinking? Part 9. Emotional intelligence. Can AI have feelings? Emotions play a central role in human thinking. We do not act purely rationally, but are guided by joy, fear, anger, or empathy. Artificial intelligence can recognize these feelings, for example in texts or faces, but can it also feel them? No, at least not yet. Emotions in artificial intelligence are models. Are simulations. They help mimic our language, but they are not felt. Yet despite everything, the impression of empathy is created, and that is often enough to generate trust. Part 10. Artificial intelligence as a mirror. Why we often misjudge intelligence. Humans tend to attribute human characteristics to machines. A phenomenon known as anthropomorphism. When a language model responds kindly or shows compassion, we often interpret it as a real feeling. However, it is just text, a calculated sentence, without intention, without context, and without consciousness. So, it is us who attribute consciousness to it, not the machine that creates it. Part 11. Is language the key? Does good rhetoric make a machine intelligent? Much of what we perceive as intelligent is based on language. Those who can articulate well appear competent. Modern language models use exactly this principle. They speak fluently, convincingly, precisely, and thus appear smart. But language is not the same as understanding. Just because artificial intelligence sounds clever, it does not mean it is intelligent in the human sense. The difference lies within. We have a self. Artificial intelligence does not. Part 12. A look into the future. Where will thinking develop? Artificial intelligence improves with each day. Models become bigger, faster, and more context-sensitive. AI systems write code, recognize connections, and engage in conversations about morality, ethics, and emotions. What if, one day, we no longer know whether the person opposite us is thinking or just simulating very well? Perhaps it no longer matters whether AI thinks, but rather how we deal with the possibility that it might. Final word, the most important question remains human. In the end, there is a question that no machine can answer. What defines us? Is thinking just a process or an expression of ourselves? And if machines think, what does that say about us? Maybe true intelligence lies in constantly questioning our thinking. I hope I was able to give you some exciting food for thought. A like and a subscription would be the best affirmation for me. Feel free to write in the comments how you think about the topic or which new topic you would wish for an upcoming post. And until then, always keep your curiosity.